Alma Angeles, thank you for joining us tonight. These are unprecedented times. Events unfold and change by the minute. And as the days go by, we watch as our leaders cope with the relentless march of this virus and disease. And now to the news. First, in the Philippines, New Era General Hospital's coronavirus recovery cases continue to rise. We have that report from Erlo Bringas. Hello, Erlo.
The New Era General Hospital is continue to care and accommodate COVID-19 patients to help the government to fight against COVID-19. On March 23, New Era General Hospital implemented its biocontainment protocol and started construction of isolation wards for PUIs. From a 100-bed hospital, it was also able to upgrade its patients' admission capability to 267 to accommodate more patients. Dr. Sergi Santos, New Era General Hospital Assistant Medical Director, said they've started preparing the hospital upon learning of the coronavirus.
Bago nakarating sa atin, ay meron na tayo mga paunang mga babala. Kaya naman ang pamamahala ng Iglesia ni Cristo, kapatid na Eduardo B. Manalo, ay agad nagtagubilin sa amin na kung sakaling tatama dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, partikular na dito sa atin na nandito along Commonwealth Avenue, ay kung maaari ay mapaghandaan na. Magkakaroon na po tayo ng mass testing dito po sa New Era General Hospital kung saan kaya na rin po nating mag-test doon sa FDA-approved na rapid test na sinasabi ng ating presidente. Nagkaroon na po tayo ng kukonti at ngayon tinetest na po natin sa mga kawani kung compatible po doon sa PCR. Sana magawa natin sa marami nating kababayang gayon na hindi nila alam kung meron sila o hindi para matapos na ang agam-agam.
The New Era General Hospital also began using rapid test kits since Saturday, April 25, 2020, as part of its unwavering quest to fight COVID-19 and in line with the Philippine government's initiative to fight the pandemic that has so far killed at least 462 in the country. They have so far screened more than 1,000 individuals, at least 319 of whom had been admitted in the hospital. Of this number, 107 have tested positive while 33 have already recovered.
Ang isa sa pinakamahirap gawin, sapagkat gaya ng alam natin, wala naman siyang sign kung ikaw ay meron ng COVID-19 virus. Marami at maaga pa nalaman natin na ang mga pasyenteng nagtataglay o ang mga taong nagtataglay ng virus na ito ay hindi nagpapakita ng sintomas, kaya ang tawag sa kanila asymptomatic. Minarapat namin sa pamamagitan ng pagpupulong ng mga department heads ng New Era General Hospital sa iba-ibang larangan ng medisina na gumawa ng containment protocol para ma-segregate kung sino po yung mga suspect, probable sa classification nga ngayon, kasi dati PUM, PUI, nang sa ganon, may physical separation talaga. Kasi marami pa rin pong nagpapagamot at nagpupunta sa ospital na hindi naman po yun ang taglay-taglay na problema o karamdaman. Kaya, sa awa po ng Diyos, malugod ko pong ibinabalita sa inyo na bagamat napakarami pong mga pasyenteng nagpapatingin sa atin at napakarami rin pong nagpa-positive sa ating screening test na pinapadala po sa RITM at ito naman isinosoli sa atin, bagamat napakataas ng bilang, patuloy po ang pagtaas din ng recovery rate.
The hospital has dedicated an entire floor for severe to critical COVID-19 patients, where rooms have been fully equipped with the ventilators and medical oxygen supply. 2 other floors are ready for COVID patients who tested positive but are asymptomatic and for those who have mild symptoms. It also set up a separate COVID-19 suspect triage and quarantine area for PUIs. New Era General Hospital strictly requires the use of personal protective equipments or PPEs for all hospital personnel. Active sanitation misting is also required upon entry and exit from the hospital buildings.
Meron pong mga araw, mas marami pong dumadating sa amin na non-COVID cases po. kaysa sa COVID cases. Lalo na po nitong mga nakaraang 5 araw na nakikita na po namin na bumababa na po ang kaso ng dumarating sa amin ng mga ang nararamdaman ay may kinalaman o maaaring pwedeng ma-attribute sa COVID. Wala naman pong ipagbabago sa panawagan ng lahat ng mga gobyerno, mga pamahalaan, mga nagpapatakbo ng mga iba't ibang mga lungsod sa buong mundo, partikular ng panawagan ng ating presidente. Wala na pong bibisa sa huwag po kayong lalabas ng bahay. Stay at home. Ang virus po na ito ay napakataas ng transmissibility. Hindi mo alam ang kausap mo kung meron nakamask man o hindi. Napakadali. Maaaring sabihin ng iba, hindi yun madali sa kanila. Ang maipapayo naming lahat ng mga medical professionals na tumutupad sa iba't ibang ospital. Opo, hindi ho talaga madaling manatili sa bahay, pero mas madali po yung kaysa sa nasa ospital.
The New Era General Hospital said they will support the initiative of the Philippine government to fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, and they will also continue their vision and mission to serve the community. Reporting from Manila for Eagle News, Arlo Bringas, we live in interesting times.
The worldwide death toll from the novel coronavirus pandemic rose to 1,903,930 on Friday, according to a tally from official sources compiled by AFP at 1900 GMT. More than 2,770,750 declared cases have been registered in 193 countries and territories since the epidemic first emerged in China in December. Of these cases, at least 736,800 are now considered recovered. The tallies, using data collected by AFP from national authorities and information from the World Health Organization, probably reflect only a fraction of the actual number of infections. In the U.S., now the worst-hit country, the death toll stood at 50,360 with 884,000 infections. At least 81,338 patients have recovered. Italy is the next most affected country with 25,969 deaths and 192,994 confirmed infections. It is followed by Spain with 22,524 fatalities and 219,764 confirmed infections. France with 22,245 deaths and 159,828 infections, and Britain with 19,506 deaths and 143,464 cases. China, excluding Hong Kong and Macau, has to date declared 4,632 deaths, 82,804 cases, just 6 since Thursday. And since Thursday, 1900 GMT, Sierra Leone announced its first death caused by the virus. Europe has listed 1,329,695 cases. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said the army would be sent in to help Ontario and Quebec provinces combat the coronavirus outbreaks at long-term care facilities. They're the hardest hit by the pandemic. Quebec asked for 1,000 troops in addition to 130 military doctors and medics previously requested to help overwhelmed staff at elderly care homes. Ontario has asked for an unspecified number of soldiers to be deployed at 5 of its most affected care homes. Let's listen in.
Steps. As I've said many times before, we will be there for Quebecers, Ontarians, and all Canadians during this crisis. We're deploying the military to provide emergency support to help provinces regain control of the situation. But we all know that this is only a short-term solution. We're also offering billions of dollars to provinces to top up the pay of essential workers and make sure that elderly Canadians get the support they deserve.
70 to 80% of all COVID-19 deaths in the 2 provinces were at long-term care homes, with the number of fatalities at the homes surpassing 1,000 in Quebec and 500 in Ontario. Quebec had tried to recruit 2,000 new staff for its long-term care facilities in recent weeks to ease the workload for existing staff, but few have applied. Even with a salary top-up from the government, the jobs are relatively still low-paying. One of the worst cases in Montreal, where 31 elderly residents died after their caregivers fled the Heron nursing home. They were left to fend for themselves, and it provoked a public outcry. Another in Laval, north of Montreal, it has recorded 69 COVID-19 deaths. In Hawaii, Mayor Kirk Caldwell announced a plan to gradually reopen certain establishments on Oahu. And his decision comes after the city and county of Honolulu reported only a single digit in new cases of the novel coronavirus for 7 consecutive days. The last time Honolulu experienced double-digit new cases was April 15, when 11 people were tested positive. Honolulu Mayor Kirk Caldwell said he might allow some businesses shut down due to the coronavirus to open starting May 1. Again, let's listen in.
And the first one is the epidemiology, cases. Is there a steady drop? Is there a flattening of the curve? And as you could see from the slide that we showed earlier, there is definitely a flattening of the curve, and we're seeing a steady decrease and a holding steady in terms of number of cases. The second part of our environment assessment is the healthcare system. How many ICU beds do we have? How many respirators do we have? How many hospital beds do we have? And then the last one is social readiness. That's the physical distancing, the wearing of face masks or face coverings, washing of our hands, doing all the things that we've been doing. And does the public continue to hold steady on this throughout this period? And if we see sunny days and not storm clouds, we continue to open up more things in there. So, when you talk about things like low risk, parks and botanical gardens are very low risk, and we are opening our parks this coming Saturday at 5 in the morning for exercise only, based on decisions and recommendations made by our medical advisory group that says people need to get out of their homes. They need to be able to exercise in open spaces where the chances of coming into contact with each other are minimized. Car dealerships and real estate transactions by appointment only, with a lot of limitations. Everyone wears a mask. When you go to an open house and only one person in the open house at one time, other than with the broker. Next slide. Then you have things that are more medium risk, but with modifications, perhaps they're less risky. So we talk about things like retail stores with measures in place for physical distancing. So there are things that are just high risk, more difficult to deal with, like restaurants with measures in place to reduce density and other things. And in fact, and religious gatherings outside of the place of worship. So large gatherings, where it would be Easter Sunday service, sunrise service, those kind of things. Got to figure out how to manage that high risk.
Earlier in the week, Mayor Caldwell announced that the stay-at-home order would be extended through May 31st, but he also indicated fewer restrictions. State Health Department officials said that Hawaii's tally of confirmed coronavirus has risen to 596, up 4 from the previous day. The state's coronavirus death toll stands at 12, unchanged from Wednesday. In other news, Anish and Jessica Samuel just got a baby. A happy moment for this family, but also a stressful one during the COVID-19 pandemic. Anish, a pulmonary critical care fellow in one of the busiest hospitals of the country, is constantly exposed to the disease. Thanks to the help of a Facebook group, Anish was lended an RV to be able to isolate himself while protecting his wife, newborn girl, and 2-year-old son. Take a look.
So my wife was concerned because we had just had a baby, and when I go back to work, I don't want to go back in the house and get. This is something that we have never ever seen of this intensity. I mean, we've seen diseases like SARS and other diseases come through, but the extent of this has been very severe. So, I mean, yeah, we've never seen like this before. People are dying again, dying. So it'll get to you. It's hard that way, and then staying away from family is also hard. But I see them. But now that I'm going back into the shifts again and going back into this, it's going to be hard. But hopefully, we'll all come out of this soon.
So the hard part is about to begin, because once he goes back to work on Saturday, that's it. I mean, luckily he had some time off planned and he was able to take it, but this is it. I mean, if it goes another 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 months, 8 months, this is where we are. But just as a wife, just knowing that he's out there working with the sickest people, the most infectious people, in one of the busiest hospitals, it's terrifying. I think for me that's going to be the hardest part,
The Facebook group RVs for MDs that started from scratch a month ago now has more than 30,000 members. The concept aims to help all essential workers who come into contact with potentially infected patients. The RVs for MDs initiative is partnering with the platform RV Share, a peer-to-peer RV rental organization with 60,000 members. The platform is encouraging RV owners to rent them out at a low price or lend them for free to first responders, including healthcare workers, firefighters, and police. Long-term, it's possible that campers could become a popular option for travelers as coronavirus confinement measures are slowly lifted. Now, after Asia, Europe, and North America, Africa is now facing its own coronavirus wave. Unenforceable lockdowns, hunger, the lack of medical equipment, the challenges are numerous in order to limit the effects of crisis on the continent. But according to projections by the World Health Organization, 10 million people in Africa could be infected by the virus in the next 6 months. Take a look.
The best advice for Africa is to prepare for the worst and prepare today. With the current challenge of obtaining testing kits, it's likely that the real numbers are higher than reported.
خويا هذا التجمع هذا الناس اللي تتخرج دابا اكثر مساكن عايشين غير كاين اللي عنده عيبيت، كاين اللي عنده عيبيت كوزينه، هما 7 الناس 6 الناس ما تيقدوش يبقاو جالسين شي ضد بنادم راه النهار كامل في هذا الحجز راه صعيب ان شاء الله باذن الله.
You will find riots. People will become desperate because they need that dollar a day or that euro a day to be able to survive.
Não fará mal algum ficar em casa, mas o problema é que é procurar o alimento. Morrer com essa doença, ou morrer a tiro, uma coisa dessas, mas morrer a fome, isso mesmo não será.
I'm listening for government what is telling. I'm staying home, I'm sleeping, I'm wake up, I'm eat. And now the food was finished. Even sugar is finished, even salt is finished. And thank you for that because I can eat.
watu wanapikwa, watu wamekuja na watoto wanaumia. Hiyo sio fair. Sasa hakuna chakula yenye watu wanapata kipira, hata kama mimi sina mask, lakini hii ni corona direct, hakuna kitu tunajizuia.
On dit que le truc est obligatoire, mais on vient en acheter, mais on n'en trouve pas.
At the moment, we're working with the health authorities to take it one step at a time, and we can build exponentially as the need requires.
Ce qui était espéré davantage, c'était l'annulation. Étant donné qu'un moratoire, ça veut dire que vous différez le paiement.
Le niveau de mégestion, de mauvaise gouvernance de nos dirigeants nous inquiète, nous préoccupe, et nous, justement, en tant que citoyens, nous allons mettre la pression pour que ces fonds-là, en tout cas, soient alloués pour la résolution de la crise.
In other news, President Trump played down a furor over his suggestion that people could try injecting disinfectants to fight the novel coronavirus, claiming he was being sarcastic. During a press conference late on Thursday, President Trump turned to government scientists in the room and asked them about the role of disinfectants in killing the coronavirus. Let's listen in.
Your comments about injections of disinfectant, they're quite provocative.
No, I was asking a question sarcastically to reporters like you, just to see what would happen. Now, disinfectant for doing this, maybe on the hands, would work. And I was asking the question of the gentleman who was there yesterday, Bill, because when they say that something will last 3 or 4 hours or 6 hours, but if the sun is out or if they use disinfectant, it goes away in less than a minute. Did you hear about this yesterday?
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it, And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
And speaking of Mitch, what's gotten into him? Well, it's an indication. The president is asking people to inject Lysol into their lungs, and Mitch is saying that states should go bankrupt. It's a clear, visible, within 24 hours of how the Republicans reject science and reject governance. If you don't believe in science and you don't believe in governance, that's their approach. And we know that science has a role. And without science in our decision-making, we are not going to be on a very successful path.
The comment about the disinfectants caused widespread confusion and alarm on Friday. The parent group of popular household product Lysol said in a statement that under no circumstance should our disinfectant products be administered into the human body through injection, ingestion, or any other route. The White House spokesman, Kayleigh McEnany, said the media had taken President Trump out of context, but did not say he was being sarcastic. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo charged that China may have known of the new coronavirus as early as November, renewing accusations that Beijing has not been transparent and again drawing ire from China. Mr. Pompeo said the United States still wanted more information from China, including the original sample of the SARS-CoV-2 virus detected in the metropolis of Wuhan. Let's listen in.
We strongly believe that the Chinese Communist Party did not report the outbreak of the new coronavirus in a timely fashion to the World Health Organization. Even after the CCP did notify the WHO of the coronavirus outbreak, China didn't share all of the information it had. Instead, it covered up how dangerous the disease is. It didn't report sustained human-to-human transmission for a month until it was in every province inside of China. It censored those who tried to warn the world. It ordered a halt to testing of new samples, and it destroyed existing samples. CCP still has not shared the virus sample from inside of China with the outside world, making it impossible to track the disease's evolution. Not making a legal determination here today on China's adherence to the IHRs, but the World Health Organization's regulatory arm clearly failed during this pandemic.
Now, China hit back on Friday, saying Secretary Pompeo's remarks were totally groundless and, quote, entirely for the purpose of blaming others. Mr. Pompeo's comments ran, quote, counter to the general consensus of the global community, according to Foreign Ministry spokesman Zheng Shuang at a daily press briefing, adding that China had provided timely information to the world and actively cooperated with others. China initially closely guarded information of the virus and silenced whistleblowers. The first official acknowledgement of what became a global pandemic came on December 31 when authorities in Wuhan reported mysterious cases of pneumonia. Dr. Michael Ryan of the Emergencies Director at the World Health Organization said the UN body first spoke of an event in Wuhan on January 4 via Twitter and provided detailed information the following day to all member countries. President Trump's administration has harshly criticized both China and the WHO, blaming them for not stopping the illness that has killed more than 180,000 people worldwide. The Iglesia Ni Cristo once again extended its help to the National Kidney Institute, this time to the National Kidney Institute Hospital by donating 2 million pesos worth of personal protective equipment or PPEs and other hospital needs for the frontliners. We have a report coming in from Erlo Bringas. Erlo.
The Iglesia ni Cristo extended its help to the National Kidney Transplant Institute by donating 2 million pesos worth of personal protective equipments, PPEs, and other hospital needs for the hospital frontliners.
Donasyon nga ninyo, malaking tulong ito kasi mas may protection talaga ang kami, mga frontliner, dahil sa PPE na yon. At hindi lang yon, minsan pati pasyente, pinabibigyan na rin namin kasi nagkakaroon na rin kami ng mga positive na mga bantay. Pasyente positive, ang bantay positive. So sila din ay binibigyan din namin ng mga proteksyon, no? Para hindi maglipatan mula sa pasyente sa bantay.
The hospital personnel expressed their gratitude to the INC Executive Minister Brother Eduardo V. Manalo for immediately sending them these much-needed items. Actually wrote to the INC Executive Minister Brother Eduardo V. Manalo asking for these items so they could better protect themselves when caring for the COVID-19 patients, and Brother Eduardo immediately granted the request.
At napakasarap sa pakiramdam na napakabilis ng kanilang aksyon na nagpadala sila ng hindi namin inaakalang ganito karaming mga personal protective equipment na napakasarap po sa pakiramdam at nararamdaman namin ang kanyang pagmamahal.
A total of 2 million pesos worth of 1,000 PPE sets, 1,000 disinfectant gallons donates by the church to NKTI. Earlier, Brother Glicerio Santos Jr., INC General Auditor, said that the Iglesia ni Cristo recognizes the needs of our frontliners and is always ready to help during these times of crises. Last April 6, 2020, the Iglesia ni Cristo first donated 13.2 million pesos worth of PPEs, vitamins, disinfectant, and other hospital needs for the frontliners in Quezon City.
At of course, nananawagan din kami sa iba ding mga organisasyon na huwag nyo rin kalilimutan ang mga ospital, ang NKTI lalo because unique kami being a hospital, hindi lamang na nasa kama lamang ang pasyente, nagdadialysis pa sila. So sana, yun nga, panawagan natin, tayo naman ho ay nagtutulungan, malay natin baka meron din kayong pamilya na nandito, natutulungan din ninyo. Salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Opo, sa mahal po namin kapatid na Eduardo V. Manalo, nagpapasalamat po kami na hindi niyo po kami nalilimutan at ramdam na ramdam po namin ang pagmamahal niyo sa amin. Hindi po namin ito malilimutan. Maraming salamat po sa ngalan po ng aming mga kasamahan dito po sa NKTI.
Reporting for Manila for Eagle News, Arubingas, we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Erlo. Eagle News will be right back.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, gabay natin ang MTRCB ratings sa matalino at responsableng panonood. Sa tamang pagsunod sa MTRCB ratings, ginagawa nating ligtas at makabuluhan ang panonood ng bawat miyembro ng pamilyang Pilipino. Lumipas man ang panahon, hanggang may pamilyang Pilipino, andyan ang MTRCB.
Welcome back. Local carriers Philippine Airlines and Cebu Pacific announced that all their domestic and international flights would remain canceled until May 15. Now, earlier, Malacanang announced that the Enhanced Community Quarantine or ECQ will be extended in Metro Manila and other select areas considered high risk for coronavirus disease 2019. PAL spokesperson Chelo Villaluna said in a text message, quote, should the lockdown be lifted by end day May 15, there will be a gradual and calibrated resumption of operations starting May 16. In the meantime, she said domestic sweeper flights and special flights arranged by several foreign embassies to ferry stranded nationals out of the country will continue. The gradual resumption of commercial flights would depend on travel restrictions in each country as well as travel demand. The Canadian government is helping small business owners who cannot afford to pay their landlords because of the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said the Canada Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance Program will lower rent by up to 75% for eligible small businesses. Let's listen in.
Since the beginning of the outbreak, our government has been working with its provincial and territorial partners not only to get through this crisis, but to position our economy to rebound. One thing we've heard is that small businesses are having trouble making rent because of COVID-19. If you've had to close up shop because of public health recommendations, if you don't have a lot of money coming in because people aren't spending as much these days, you may be worried about losing your office space or not having a coffee shop to reopen after this crisis. So last week, we said that we're planning on introducing the Canada Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance. And today, I can announce that we've reached agreements with all provinces and territories to lower rent by 75% for small businesses that have been strongly affected by COVID-19 for April, May, and June. The government will cover 50% of that reduction, with the property owner covering the rest. If you are a small business that has been strongly affected by COVID-19 and you're paying less than $50,000 per month on rent, you'll be eligible to receive this support.
A report published by the World Tourism Organization, or UNWTO, shows that as of April 6, 96% of all worldwide destinations have introduced travel restrictions in response to the pandemic. Let's listen in.
A report published yesterday by the World Tourism Organization shows that as of April 6, 96% of worldwide destinations have introduced travel restrictions in response to the pandemic. The Secretary General of the UNWTO, Zura Polishkashvili, said that the pandemic has impacted travel and tourism like no other event in history. He added that with tourism suspended, the benefits the sector brings are under threat and millions of jobs could be lost.
Several committees of Berlin restaurant and hotel owners brought the empty chairs of their establishments to the Brandenburg Gate to ask the German government for help. Take a look.
Wir sind in der Situation, uns wird nicht geholfen. Wir
Berlin lebt vom Tourismus. Berlin ist eine der boomsten Städte. Und wenn wir unsere Hotels und Restaurants nicht unterstützen mit dieser Aktion, wer soll es dann tun? Deswegen haben wir gesagt, liebe Gastronomen, liebe Hoteliers, bringt alle Stühle zu uns, damit wir ein Zeichen setzen können. Denn wir brauchen Rettungsschirme, wir brauchen Hilfe. Alles andere würde die Gastronomie durch Corona töten. Wenn wir keine Rettungsschirme haben, haben wir in 2 Monaten bis 3 Monaten 50% weniger Gastronomen in Deutschland. Alles andere würde die Gastronomie durch Corona töten. Wenn wir keine Rettungsschirme haben, haben wir in 2 Monaten bis 3 Monaten 50% weniger Gastronomen in Deutschland.
In the U.S., gyms, hair salons, and parlors had a green light to reopen Friday in the state of Georgia. Now, this restaurant owner says it's a dangerous move as the number of COVID-19 infections are still rising.
We have no plans on opening Monday. It is irresponsible. It is not the right thing to do. We value our staff, we value our clientele, and we value the citizens of Georgia. This is an irresponsible move that is based solely on dollars over science.
I don't want to see anybody get sick or die from this disease, but I think you can have freedom of choice of not going to what's open. If you don't want to go to that restaurant, or you don't want to go to that bowling alley, or you don't want to go there, don't go. Stay in your house. Don't come out.
It's good for my paycheck. I make, obviously all my money here on tips, and so, the more people I see per day, the more money I make. And so, thankfully I've been able to do takeout and still make a little bit of tip money, but, it's good to be open for me financially.
Restaurants, theaters, and private social clubs can open from Monday, providing social distancing and mask-wearing guidelines are in place. But infections and deaths continue to rise in Georgia, and concern has surged that rising shelter-in-place orders too early could trigger new outbreaks. Georgia's coronavirus figures are far lower than those in New York, the U.S. epicenter of the virus, but they are substantial, and the state has more than 21,880 confirmed cases as of Thursday, with 881 deaths, according to a Johns Hopkins tally. U.S. regulators on Friday welcomed a historic $5 billion settlement with Facebook over data privacy, as the social network said it was already implementing the provisions of the deal. The deal between the leading social network and the U.S. Federal Trade Commission became official with the approval Thursday of a federal judge. Along with the fine, the settlement announced last July requires Facebook to ramp up privacy protections, provide detailed quarterly reports on compliance with the deal, and have an independent oversight board. Some privacy activists had challenged the deal, claiming it let off Facebook too easy after the Cambridge Analytica scandal that allowed the hijacking of personal data of millions of users ahead of the 2016 U.S. presidential election. FTC Chairman Joe Simon said in a statement, quote, he was pleased with the court approval, pointing out it was the largest monetary penalty ever obtained by Consumer Protection Agency. Amazon tech workers are calling in sick to protest the company's treatment of warehouse workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the past 3 weeks, 6 workers have been fired after they called for better safety precautions, according to employees Emily Cunningham and Marin Costa, who were fired for breaking the external communication and no solicitation policy. Take a look.
And the tech workers. There's such a divide. The two groups are completely siloed and apparently extremely intentionally so. And the minute that a member of our group sent out an invitation to that conversation, Emily Cunningham and I were fired, just like that. And the invitation, which was out for about 2 hours on a Friday afternoon and had already gotten 1,500 accepts, and that meeting was deleted and pulled off of everybody's calendar. So censorship, silencing, and firing. So the hope is that by tech workers standing in solidarity with warehouse workers, the message will be louder and be more likely to be heard.
The online retail giant has been accused since the start of the pandemic of failing to sufficiently protect its employees and of firing employees in the U.S. who led protest movements. The protest comes just days before a planned online strike by Amazon coders and engineers. The company has said it will recruit 175,000 new employees in the U.S. to help with runaway demand as people lock down because of the pandemic order things online. YouTube's first video, titled Me at the Zoo, was uploaded 15 years ago today. Now, amid a coronavirus pandemic forcing people to stay home, tutorials on baking bread and raising chickens are increasingly popular on the online video platform. Here's YouTube Communications Manager Veronica Navarrete.
And what's really trending right now are things that are super helpful and videos where you can learn something, especially while we're at home. So I'm finding that fitness, cooking, and anything related to well-being is generally trending right now. Is that global average daily uploads of videos related to yoga have more than tripled. And it doesn't require a lot of space, and it's something that can be easily done from home. On the cooking side, we're seeing views of videos with Cook With Me in the title have increased by over 100% since March 15th. We see creators like Binging with Babish, Healthy Junk Food, and Emmy Made in Japan all inspiring us with new recipes and ideas for the kitchen. I think one of the most surprising trends that we've seen is around raising chickens. Average daily views of videos with raising chickens in the title have increased 130% since March 15th of this year. I think a lot of us are returning to traditional methods, traditional things that maybe we haven't thought of in a really, really long time. So that's like raising chickens, cutting our own hair, making our own bread, sourdough from scratch. I think one of the standouts has been John Krasinski's Good News Network. That has really struck a chord with a lot of people because right now we could all use some good news, and we're seeing his videos consistently on the trending tab.
Eagle News, we'll be right back. Japanese kabuki production company Shochiku is providing the traditional theatrical performances for audiences online as the virus emergency continues in the country. Take a look. Now, amid the pandemic, kabuki theaters have been closed like many other entertainment spots. In a rare move, artists in traditional costumes perform to empty seats as their performances are broadcasted online for free. Several stages can be seen on the Shochiku channel on YouTube until Sunday, 14:59 GMT. Fitness exercises using a water bottle during this quarantine. Here's Kathy Ferrer Arceo. Take a look.
While most people get their culinary skills, cooking new recipes and baking, let's see how we can burn those calories that we have won by doing a home exercise using materials that we have at home. minutes of physical exercise during quarantine helps to improve our defenses, improve our health, and prevent pathologies, helps us to stay fit, and also helps us to overcome the anxiety and stress of the situation. Reporting from Madrid, Spain, I am Catalina Arteo. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Kathy. And may we leave you with a word of hope. Together we are strong. Together we can persevere. Getting through this will take everyone working together. So let's do our part. And that's the news for tonight. I'm Alma Angeles. Join us online and here again tomorrow evening. From all of us here at Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
everyone! It's Teacher Sally, Ate DJ, and Art, and we're from Net 25 Kids! We hope that you're all safe at home. And while you're spending time with your family, join us as we feature different topics and fun activities that the whole family could enjoy during the quarantine.
That's right! And because we are celebrating EBC's 52nd anniversary, may mga bago kaming episodes para sa inyo. Kaya naman, ihanda na ang inyong mga art materials, friends! Gagawa tayo ng iba't ibang art at do-it-yourself projects!
Ilabas nyo na rin ang inyong mga musical instruments. We'll sing and do fun challenges that will surely bring out the creative side in you.
At syempre, halina't matuto at magbasa. Samantalahin natin ang pagkakataon. Kahit nasa bahay tayo, dapat tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pag-aaral. Because every day is a learning opportunity. And opportunities like these should be made into teachable moments.
Tama po, Teacher Sally. Ang Net 25 Kids ay para sa mga bata,
para sa mga ate at kuya,
at pati na rin sa mga magulang. So, catch Kid Kwento every Mondays and Wednesdays from 4 to 4:30 p.m.
Anong say nyo? Every Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 4:30 p.m.
And mapapanood nyo na rin sa TV ang Be Brighter. That's every Fridays, 4 to 4:30 p.m.
Hindi lang po yan. May sorpresa kaming hatid sa inyo tuwing Sabado at Linggo. Abangan nyo po ang show namin ng ate ko. Soon!
Lahat ng yan ay hatid sa inyo ng
Net 25 Kids!